What is going on, FA Nation? Jonathan Pemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. Today, we're taking a look at the 5-game early slate over on DraftKings. Starts off at 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll take a look at the 8-game main slate for James and I will be on that show as well. But we figure you all like to get involved in some day baseball, so let's break that one down for you. We appreciate you all tuning in. If you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Free way to support the work we do here over on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel is much appreciated. And you get notified whenever we go live by subscribing there. So make sure you do that so you never miss a live show. James, we got 5 games, so a little bit of a quicker dance for us here, breaking it all down. When there's 5 games, there's a smaller player pool to choose from. And as we've talked about quite a few times here on smaller slates, sometimes it's okay to use both starting pitchers in certain matchups. And we might have that with Detroit Atlanta.
Yeah, we also might not use Tarek Skubal just given how good Atlanta's been lately, but we'll see.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I actually prefer Ranger Suarez probably to Skubal. With how good Suarez has been and how bad San Diego has been specifically against lefties outside of like basically Jurickson Profar, they continue to struggle against lefties. So give me Ranger Suarez over Skubal. Give me Reynaldo over both for the price.
Sure. Yeah, Lopez has been wild. Not like an elite strikeout guy for most of this year. And then the last 3 starts, Oakland, Washington, Baltimore, 8 strikeouts. So starting to pump those numbers up a bit here. Obviously there's some win equity potentially involved with Atlanta. Like you said, if their bats continue to wake up now, you're running up against Tarek Skubal, things can happen there. You also have Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Hunter Green going up against Pittsburgh, Mitch Keller going up against Cincinnati. We know the upsides and downsides of both of these starters. We were buying into the run that Mitch Keller was on, and then lets us down against St. Louis. Hunter Green, if he can keep the walks down, we know can be dominant. We know Pittsburgh here against righties, not a great offense. So maybe a game you look to stack pitchers in this one.
Yeah, I like both guys for tournaments, but you can't trust them in anything other than tournaments for sure.
I would, definitely not Hunter Green in cash, for sure not. Any of these value plays for you? Do you trust Kyle Gibson, a guy that has been on a decent run here of late at 7,400?
Yeah, I would say Gibson is the one guy that I would go to. We don't know what the weather is like in Chicago. It's been windy the last 2 days. I expect it to be windy again, especially for the day game. So maybe finally using some Giants Cubs would be nice because if there's wind blowing out, then I want bats in that game. It's Gibson or bust for me in the value tier.
I agree. And I don't think we're going to play any of the value that's even below him. Hendricks, Brazelban, or Howard here, right?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Catcher. Small slate, even smaller player pool. Look for the value. We'll see who's even starting on the day games here. Find the cheap guy and plug in. I don't even really have like a lean necessarily either. I mean, you got a knuckleballer on the mound. We got a couple of top starters. I mean, do you have a favorite, I guess, of this group?
Patrick Bailey, if there's wind.
Only if there's wind or just in general?
Patrick Bailey in general.
Okay, I was gonna say because there aren't many other qualifiers here.
Marchand.
Yeah,
he was coming off 4 for 4 the other night.
I put the hex on him, the reverse hex on him the other day when I was like, nah, he can't hit. And you're like, well, he had a homer the other day, and then I was like 4 hits. So good on him there. I don't mind Herrera there at 36 if he's in the lineup there for the Cardinals. First base, where are you looking to go here?
First base. If you want to play guys against Waldron, you can. We'll see. We'll see about the wind. If there's wind, you can go to Bellinger. Not going to play Olsen. You can play Steer in tournaments.
Sure.
Araz. We'll see. I mean, Michael Busch has been awesome. Even since returning, he's been very good once again.
Yep.
He started off the year like this. If there's some appeal to some Cubs here. Cubs are actually homered off Logan Webb, which was crazy to see on the Tuesday slate. Goldie has hit righties well. Has not hit lefties well. We'll see. I'm a little. I don't know what they're doing, Miami. but Brazoban has not really been extended all too much, 52,
Right.
so it could be a bullpen game. I would really like the Cardinals if that's the case.
Yeah, Goldschmidt homered on the Tuesday slate as well. So
On the Tuesday slate, and then the only other name I'd look at is probably Rowdy Tellez.
I was gonna say, yeah, Tellez for me. Just knowing that Green he walks 5, I mean, like you're gonna have some opportunities to score some runs there. So I like that call. Second base, again, if you're, is this a situation where like you're not pitching Scooble, but you're not necessarily buying in on Atlanta either? Because you do have Albies versus a lefty.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably play one-offs against Scooble. I wouldn't do anything like
Sure.
if I was like had strong conviction about Albies because he's been historically good against lefties, then I would play him, but I wouldn't stack against Scooble.
Sure. Mid tier looks pretty good. Again, Bush has second base eligibility. You have the Giants with Wisely there against Hendricks, Gorman against Brazoban, or whomever Miami decides to throw out there. Rodri Munoz started Tuesday, got lit up. We expected that to happen the start prior, didn't? But it happened on Tuesday this time around. So we'll see where Miami goes. And then again, there's not like a ton else down here for value for 5 games. So Nolan Gorman, Wisely, maybe the 2-ish cheap guys I'd go to.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if Mastrobuoni's in the lineup. He was called up Tuesday. We'll see if he's in the lineup. He's a stone cold punt, and
Yeah.
if that's going to be a third straight win game, then I'm gonna just in general have appeal. There's just going to be natural appeal there.
Sure. Third base, you get to Alec Boehm, 56, Austin Riley, 52, Chapman and Machado kind of rounding out your top group. When I was doing like a quick scroll through here, again, the top guys are great. They're just in tough spots. There wasn't necessarily a standout play for me here. Was there someone that you're looking to target?
Probably Jeimer Candelario, just because he's been so good of late, and we don't really have an idea what version of Mitch Keller is going to show up. And if it's the bad version of Mitch Keller, then Candelario should take advantage of this spot because he's been a wrecking ball lately.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 OPS, 700 slug in his last 10 games, 8 extra base hits over that span. So I like Candelario as my favorite option in this at third.
Yeah, I like, again, got the good power coming out of him of late as well, for sure. Shortstop, again, sort of the same problems. Got Turner up there at 59 already, Ellie at 62. O'Neill Cruz versus Green. You want to test 100-mile-an-hour fastball versus 120 exit velocity? Yeah, you'll have that matchup there. You can also play Wisely here and Dansby Swanson. So a couple of cheap guys.
Yeah. Ellie's actually been pretty good lately. He has hit a little stretch. I feel like he is we're only a year and a half into his tenure, but he is a super streaky player.
Sure. When you strike out 33% of the time, right? That happens.
Yeah. And then you see like the 3 games surrounding the multi-strikeout games. It's like, well, multi-hits in 3 of them, stolen bases in 3 of his last 4, and you see the game is a triple, a home run, 2 walks, and a stolen base, 35 fantasy points. Well, if you didn't have Ellie, you're not winning a tournament on that day. So I'm definitely interested against Mitch Keller. I have the same feeling about Ellie as I did basically Keller on the other side. Tournaments only. Trey Turner has looked good since returning. If you want to go there, that's fine. O'Neill Cruz, I agree. Like there's appeal just given power on power here, and we know what power can do against power if power makes contact, right? With power. Also, he might go for 4 strikeouts. We'll see. Dansby Swanson homered on Tuesday. Maybe signs of life there. He had been like 0 for his last 20 before
he's
that.
Supposed to be a better player, but he hasn't.
He was great. He was great last year. He's not great this year. So Swanson would probably be the only other name I'd throw
there. Okay. Outfield. Ozuna, Schwarber's been ridiculous. If you can, nail down the knuckleball there. Bellinger's, you talked about at first base, but he's got the Howard matchup. Seiya with the Howard matchup. Where are you looking to go at outfield today?
I mean, if I were to one-off a Brave, it would either be Albies or Marcell Ozuna. It would be one of the two. Because Ozuna just keeps hitting. Schwarber, as you mentioned, just keeps hitting. And you play when Kyle Schwarber is in this, you play Kyle Schwarber in this when he's going this good.
Yeah.
Even though he's 6K. Well, if he gets a flat knuckleball or a four seam that Waldron loves to throw, I mean, he's going to hit it 700 feet. So Schwarber and Ozuna for me. Bellinger's obviously interesting. Seiya's obviously interesting. Soler, I mean, Seiya's been really, really good. He's probably interesting regardless. He's been pretty good. I think Soler for home run specifically is fine.
He's starting to heat up too after a really bad month and a half.
Yeah.
You're waiting for that home run stretch for this is a guy that can hit him in bunches. So
I'm honestly I'm probably gonna. This is probably the most exposure to the Giants I'm gonna have.
Because, Ramos in your lineup,
dude. Ramos is just this. I mean, he has to be one of the best out of nowhere players.
Nobody knows where he's coming from, but his StatCast page is red on everything. He is just 90th percentile everything right now.
500. This is not the lefty matchup, but he has a 500. When I was looking at the Tuesday slate, he had a 500 ISO against left-handed pitching. So too bad he doesn't get one here. But Hendricks fly balls. If there's wind in Wrigley, probably not the right start for Kyle Hendricks to make. Conforto as well. I know Conforto's been terrible as well. But I would have a lot of interest if there's a bunch of wind as previously mentioned.
Obviously, Profar has great numbers against lefties. If you want to throw a guy against Suarez, Ian Happ homered. Again, he's another one that's starting to heat up for Chicago. You'll mention probably just maybe game stacking San Francisco, Chicago backs here against Howard and Hendricks could be a play there. You got some lefties against Keller with Fraley. Let's see. Any other values down here?
Duvall's a one-off, only against lefties. He just keeps hitting lefties.
Sure.
Every number he has is lefties. I know he's been terrible, but
let's see. See if there's any obvious splits. I guess if Peker Armstrong was in the lineup, I'd play with the stolen base potential for him.
Yep.
Anything else for you down here?
Wall's probably not in the lineup. Heard of BC. Who left? Was it Friedel that left? Friedel was out of the lineup Tuesday. Fairchild led off. I mean, we'll see. One of these Reds values will.
Yeah, Benson maybe or something like that.
Yeah, Heard of BC, Benson. Probably one of those lefties will probably be in the starting lineup.
Okay. Yaz has been pretty good lately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on that game. I mean, it's hard without looking at the weather report. There's been significant wins for 2 straight days. And those have both been evening games, and now we're getting day baseball. And again,
according to this is obviously different areas of Chicago, but weather.com has Wednesday afternoon with a high of 93 and winds up to 15 miles an hour. So
it's really good. That's really good hitting weather in Chicago.
That's warm and windy in Chicago. Could mean some home runs leaving the yard there. So
yes.
All right, let's get a lineup build then. Do we what are your plugs in? We like Gibson. Do we just plug in the value for Gibson and then pay up? Do we game stack like a Green Keller? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean
Lopez you mentioned.
Reynaldo Gibson rather. And then get some Giants and Cubs and then see where everything else kind of fits in.
Where we land. Yeah, that's fine by me. Go Bailey.
Ramos.
Base.
I would say Ramos is probably the priority of also.
Okay.
Probably close to it at least.
Bellinger then at first base. So Wisely. Candelario, you mentioned
John, we are speaking of the Giants, and just got the news. R.I.P. Willie Mays, 93 years old.
Aw,
93 years old. Passed away this afternoon. We're recording this evening, so just got the update. We're talking all about the Giants here. R.I.P. to,
Yeah, no, that's a big one.
The most historical Giant in the ever. One of the greatest baseball players ever.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Willie. I didn't mean to stop the show for that.
No, that's a huge announcement. Obviously, one of the greats.
Michael Bush,
Would they play
41.
Furman here?
Probably, maybe.
Because
No,
they
they probably play Gorman. They'll just play Gorman.
okay. Because Mason Wing was
That's
scratched.
true. That's true.
I do like Gorman a little bit better. So that gives us 4K outfielders. Mention Yaz. We have basically a full game stack going on here. 4,700.
I mean, 90 degree weather with 15-mile-an-hour winds with Kyle Hendricks and Spencer Howard are your two pitchers. I mean, what more do you need for a game stack than that?
I agree. We need $100. We got Bellinger, Seiya.
I mean, just go off Bailey and punt with like Marchand, and then we can just play it.
Let's do. We got Cardinals. Let's do a card stack. We got Herrera, Gorman in there with our 2-man. So, okay. All right. So, example lineup for everybody here again for the 12:20 p.m. 5-game early slate over on DraftKings. Lopez, Gibson, Herrera, Bellinger, Gorman, Candelario, Wisely, Ramos, Yastrzemski, and Seiya Suzuki taking advantage of that 90-degree weather with wind in Chicago. We'll be back again live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to break down the main slate. So make sure you check in there, hit the like, hit the subscribe so you never miss a show, and we'll see you later.